we have in this session, actually, according to list, we have 4 different country participants from 8 different university actually. According to our program, we have participants from Turkey, India, Libya, Azerbaijan, and I saw Nicolae Stancu from Romania. Is it right?
Yes, I'm from Romania, but I'm now affiliated to university in North Macedonia. So, now I want to deliver a speech on Turkic words in some Balkan languages from a cultural perspective. I mean the relevance of languages for ethnicities and sort of linguistic anthropology. This is the point. And I prepared a quite long presentation. I don't know how much time do I have?
Actually,
like 20?
Actually, we have 10 minutes for all participants.
Yeah.
You know, we will give you sentence after, Pelin Demir, our first participant. And now we can start Pelin Demir's presentation if you are also ready. And I also request the other participants can, close the mute the speakers, please.
Yeah. Okay. I will do so. Just to transfer my presentation into from computer into my iPad, and we'll do so.
Yeah, please. Okay. Firstly, mute your speaker.
Okay.
And now, Pelin Demir, you can start presentation. And I saw you have Pelin Demir, Muhsin Mutlup, Selçuk Alan, Mehmet Emin Aydemir from 2 universities, Fırat University in Turkey and Harran University in Turkey. And now it's your turn. You can start. And I also make you host now, so you can share your, I don't know, can I do this? Or please, can you can you share your, screen, or we need some support from the, so, okay. So,
Fırat Üniversitesi Veteriner Fakültesi Gıda Hijyeni ve Teknolojisi bölümünden Doktor Pelin Demir. Bugün sizlere biberiye ve karanfil uçucu yağlarının taze gökkuşağı alabalığından yapılan köftelerin bazı mikrobiyolojik, kimyasal ve duyusal nitelikleri etkisini anlatacağım. Yeterli ve dengeli beslenme, sağlıklı bir yaşamın devamlılığı için vazgeçilmez unsurlardandır. Sağlıklı beslenmenin öneminin anlaşılmasıyla sağlıklı gıdalara yönelim artmıştır. İçerdikleri besin maddelerinin zenginliği ile su ürünleri, beslenme diyetlerinin ilk başlarında yer alan sağlıklı gıdalardan olup, bu gıda grubu içinde balık ön sırayı almaktadır. Dünya genelinde kişi başına düşen yıllık balık tüketimi 1960'larda 9,9 kilogram, 1990'larda 14,4 kilogram, 2013'te 14,7 kilogram, 2014 ve 2015'te yaklaşık 20 kilogram, 2019 yılında kişi başına düşen yıllık balık tüketimi Japonya, Norveç gibi ülkelerde 80 kilogram, İspanya'da 40 kilogram, Yunanistan'da 23 kilogram, dünya genelinde yaklaşık 13 kilogram, 19 kilogram, Amerika Birleşik Devletleri'nde 25 kilogram olduğu tahmin ediliyor. Türkiye'de kişi başına düşen balık tüketimi ortalama olarak 6-8 kilogram arasında değişmektedir. İç sularda en çok yetiştirilen tür ise gökkuşağı alabalığı olup 2002 sonrası dönemde alabalık üretimi artış göstermiş. 2013 yılında 128.000 tona ulaşmıştır. Alabalık üretimi son yıllarda 110.000 ton seviyesinde seyretmektedir. Günümüzde çalışan nüfusun artmasıyla hazır gıdalara, özellikle de doğal katkı maddesi içermeyen pratik ve tüketime hazır ürünlere eğilim artmıştır. Su ürünlerine olan balık da hazır yiyecekler konusunda çok geniş bir yelpazeye sahiptir. Ülkemizde yetiştirilen gökkuşağı alabalığı canlı, taze, soğutulmuş, dondurulmuş, füme konserve olarak gerek yurt içinde gerekse yurt dışında yerini almaktadır. Gökkuşağı alabalığı kullanılarak balık pastırması, balık dolması, balık döneri, patates, sosis, alabalık havyarı, köfte, jambon, balık kraker, alabalık keki, alabalık milföy böreği, kroket gibi ürünler de yapılmaktadır. Doğal ve sentetik katkı maddeleri yıllardır gıdalarda kullanılan koruyucu maddelerdir. Ancak sentetik kökenli koruyucuların insan sağlığına olumsuz etkilerinden dolayı kullanımı sınırlandırılmış, doğal ve antimikrobiyal katkı maddelerine yönelim artmıştır. Bitkilerin antimikrobiyal bileşikleri çoğunlukla uçucu yağ kısmında bulunmakta olup, uçucu yağlar genellikle su buharı distilasyonu şeklinde elde edilirler. Su ürünlerinde biberiye, kekik, adaçayı, karanfil ve sarımsak doğal antioksidan kaynağı olarak kullanılan bitki türlerindendir. Karnosik asit, karnosol ve rosmarinik asit biberiyenin yapısında bulunan bileşikler olup ticari olarak kullanılmaktadır. Karanfilin antimikrobiyal aktivitesi uçucu yağlarında bulunan öjenol, oleik asitler ve lipidlerdir. Bu maddeler United States ve FDA tarafından GRAS stratejisinde kabul edilen bileşiklerdendir. Bu çalışmada gökkuşağı alabalığından elde edilen köftelerde biberiye ve karanfil uçucu yağlarının mikrobiyolojik, kimyasal, duyusal kalite özelliklerine etkisinin belirlenmesi amaçlanmıştır. Bu çalışmada kullanılan gökkuşağı alabalıkları Elazığ Keban Alabalık Tesisinden temin edilmiştir. Yaklaşık 3-4 kilogram ağırlığında gökkuşağı alabalıkları soğuk zincir kuralları çerçevesinde laboratuvarımıza getirilmiş ve hazırlıklar süresince buzdolabı koşullarında muhafaza edilmiştir. Derileri soyulan balıkların baş ve iç organları uzaklaştırıldıktan sonra filetolara çıkarılmış, sonrasında kaynar suda 1-2 dakika haşlanmıştır. Balık eti kılçıklarından temizlendikten sonra çapı 3 mm olan kıyma makinesinden geçirilerek kıyma haline getirilmiştir. Balık köftesinin harcı için balık eti dışında patates, soğan, somun ekmeğin içi, maydanoz ve çeşitli baharatlar, yedibahar, kimyon, karabiber gibi. Onun dışında tuz, zeytinyağı kullanılmıştır. Daha duyusal aşamada ise yumurtaya batırılıp daha sonra eti ununa batırılıp kızartıldıktan sonra duyusala sunulmuştur. Balık eti kıyma haline getirildikten sonra baharat karışımı, tuz, zeytinyağı ve diğer malzemeler ilave edilerek homojen bir şekilde karıştırılmıştır. Köfte karışımlarının yaklaşık 25 gram ağırlığında köfteler tartılıp elle şekil verilerek strafor tabaklara yerleştirilmiş ve tabaklar streç film ile kaplanmıştır. Çalışma öncesinde biberiye ve karanfil uçucu yağ katkılı balık köftelerinin hazırlanmasına kullanılacak olan uçucu yağ miktarlarının belirlenmesine yönelik ön çalışma yapılmış ve bunun sonucunda 250 ppm oranında uçucu yağ ilave edilen köfte örnekleri panelistlerce beğenilmiştir. Bu çalışmada da hazırlanan köfteler için bu sonuç dikkate alınmıştır. Köfte örnekleri 3 gruba ayrılmıştır. Kontrol grubu, aynı karışımla hazırlanan köftelere 250 ppm biberiye yağ eklenerek ikinci grup yani A grubu, 250 ppm karanfil yağı eklenerek üçüncü grup yani B grubu oluşturulmuştur. 25 gram ağırlığında köfteleri elde edilip tabaklara yerleştirilip streç filmi kaplanmıştır. Çalışma 3 tekrarlı yapıldı. Filetolar çiğ balığın filetosu 0. günde mikrobiyolojik kimyasal yönden analize alınırken köfte örnekleri muhafazanın 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 ve 16. günlerinde mikrobiyolojik kimyasal duyusal yönden incelenmiştir.
Hocam son 5 dakikanız.
Teşekkür ediyorum. Mikrobiyolojik açıdan toplam mezofil aerop, psikrofil, koliform, anaerop, stafilokokus ve mikrokokus, mayaküf. Kimyasal açıdan pH, kuru madde, kül, tuz, toplam uçucu bazik nitrojen, tiyobarbitürik asit, duysal açıdan da renk, görünüş, koku, gevreklik, lezzet, genel beğeni düzeylerine bakılmıştır. İstatistiksel analiz, bu çalışmadan elde edilen verilerin istatistiksel analizi SPSS 22 paket programı kullanılarak yapıldı. Mikrobiyolojik veriler logaritma 10 kop bölü gram olarak formüle edildi ve verilerin 3 çarpı 3 çarpı 1 çarpı 9 faktöriyel deneme düzenine göre ana etkiler, uygulama, muhafaza sıcaklığı, örnekleme günleri arasında üçlü değişkenler arası interaksiyonlar yönünden CLM prosedürü izlenerek değerlendirildi. Anlamlı farklılık gösteren gruplar, Fisher'in en düşük kareler ortalamaları testine kullanılarak çoklu karşılaştırmaya tabi tutuldu. İstatistiki önem seviyesi 0.05 olarak belirlendi. Birinci tablo, mikroorganizmaların ilerleyişine dair bir tablo. Toplam mezofilik aerop bakteri sayısı muhafaza boyunca artış göstermiş. Gruplar arasında farklılıklar var. En az sayıya sahip olan ise B grubu, yani karanfil içeren köfte grubu. Aynı şekilde bunlar psikrofil, koliform, staf ve mayaküf için de geçerli. Anaerob bakteriler arasında ilk günler arasında çok bir fark olmayıp sonlara doğru fark görülmüştür. pH seviyesi, kuru madde, kül, tuz, TBL, TBA değerleri açısından ise yine B grubu diğerlerine göre daha düşük seyretmektedir. İstatistiksel fark ise daha çok toplam volatil bazik sayısında ve tiyobarbitürik asitte görülmektedir. Duyusal özellikte ise en çok beğeni toplayan grup karanfil grubunun olduğu B grubudur. Raf ömrü uzun olan gıdalar için tüketici talepleri büyük önem taşımaktadır. Gıda güvenliğinin sağlanması ve aynı zamanda beslenme ve kalite özelliklerinin muhafaza edilmesi ve yönelik taleplerin karşılanması, mikroorganizmaları inaktive etmek için alternatif koruma tekniklerine ilginin artmasıyla sonuçlanmıştır. Bu çalışmada taze gökkuşağı alabalığının hazırlanan köftelerin üretiminde kullanılan karanfil yağı ekstraktının mikrobiyal gelişmeyi yavaşlatarak raf ömrünü artırdığı ve köfte bileşimliğe ilavesinin ürünün duysal özelliklerine istenmeyen bir değişim neden olmadığı ve artı 4 santigrat derecede 16 gün boyunca yenilebilir niteliğini koruduğu gözlemlenmiştir. Böylece kullanılan karanfil esansiyel yağının gıda maddelerinin mikrobiyolojik güvenliğini sağlamak ve raf ömrünü artırmada kullanılmasının üreticiler ve tüketiciler açısından önemli olabileceği düşünülmektedir. Beni dinlediğiniz için teşekkür ediyorum.
Biz teşekkür ederiz. Thank you for first participant.
You're welcome.
Actually, second and third presentation is our presentation with my friend Alparslan Çobanoğlu. So now I'm starting to first presentation of us. Just a second. And also I want to add at the end of we will get question and comments because time limitation. Actually, I start with share. I'm sorry for waiting. Yeah. Can you see my presentation now? I guess.
Yes, you can see.
Okay, thank you. Okay, our first presentation is, first topic is an evaluation on the psychological status of the children of parents with a diagnosis of psychiatric disorder. Actually, we are social workers and I'm also psychologist. So we want to look the topic from these views. Firstly, I want to start with aim of our study. Actually, our study aimed to emphasize that the prevalence of psychiatric disorders in children of parents diagnosed with some psychiatric disorder is higher than the children of parents who haven't been diagnosed with any psychiatric disorder. That is important findings actually, and we want to prove this information during our presentation. When we look to scientific studies about psychiatric disorders in Turkish families, we see that the children of parents with psychiatric disorders in many scientific studies in Turkey are also often found in different psychiatric disorders. Although these psychiatric disorders are sometimes comorbid with the parents, actually we can observe some comorbidity. They can also be psychiatric disorders that show different or combined types. There are two types in that issue. Studies on the topic, there are some studies on the subject reveal that certain psychiatric disorders of parents affect directly, there are some effects directly on the children, especially in adolescence and early childhood. While major depressive disorders carried by parents cause depression and behavioral disorders in adolescence, it has been determined that the depression of the father figure, actually that is another important finding, a father figure causes destructive behavioral disorders and alcohol and substance use, because before the early childhood to adolescent period, we know that except inheritance, there are really important social learning issues. And also, when we look from psychological disorders observed in children, we have many disorders. I will give you some samples. For example, depressive disorder, conduct disorder, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, anxiety disorder, also post-traumatic stress disorder, trichotillomania, tic disorder, and obsessive compulsive disorder, schizophrenia, and substance use related disorders. I also mentioned about this. And when we look definition of this kind of psychiatric disorders, most of you know that our book is DSM-5 now. Around the world, we are using this book for finding information about these disorders. And according to DSM-5, there are also major depressive disorder, dysthymic disorder, depression in bipolar disorder, depression due to a general medical condition, and depressed adjustment disorder, and the last one, depressive disorder not otherwise specified. And there are three important things in this issue, and those are premenstrual dysphoric disorder, minor depressive disorder, and recurrent brief depressive disorder. In conclusion, I want to say that family is a social institution with its psychological, social, and economic characteristic near with biological characteristics, because as you know, World Health Organization, say that health is not just biological thing, also psychological and social thing. So that is really important, and we are, as a mental professionals, we are working about these kind of problems. In addition to genetic inheritance, individuals may experience psychological problems due to a number of the other dynamics within the family, because when we think, a family is a one circle we have another circles around the, family. For example, school, for example, relatives, for example, the environment. So all these things, all these characteristics affected by, problem in family. So this situation may be caused by factors related to genetics, social environments, and family relationship. When we look to studies on the function of the family have gained significance in studies on mental disorders in recent years. In development of child psychopathology, it has been revealed that the existing mental disorders of the parents are a major risk factor. In this sense, early diagnosis and treatment methods are very significant as they have a protective effect on the mental health of the child, because they are directly affected from the family, from their families. It is also significant to inform the families of children with mood disorder. There is a big false about the usage of mood actually, because in Turkish sample, everyone said, today I have really bad mood. That is misuse. Actually, that's a big misuse, because if your mood is changed, we have to wait 6 months as a psychologist. So that's not possible to change your mood in daily activity. So it's obvious that there is a low-key relationship between parental education and their child's problem. So cooperation with parents is critical in this issue. As a matter of fact, many scientific studies show that if a family member is diagnosed with any psychiatric disorder, it may negatively affect the other members of the family psychologically. In addition, the mental well-being of the mother and or father is important in terms of child and adolescents psychology. Thank you for listening. I think I spent my time in my limit, and I have also second presentation. And I'm opening the second one. Yes, our second presentation is about internet addiction. I also think that I will be internet addicted in this time, because as academician, we have so too many time the screen, and when we look from the adolescent period, it's really hard time for our children. So our second study aims of our study is evaluate the situation of adolescents with regard to internet use in a holistic manner from the perspective of social work through review and research articles. We are social workers. We are working with adolescent period separately from some abuse and addiction studies in social work. And in this study, we want to combine one developmental time with one, addiction. Firstly, I want to talk about adolescent period. All of us know that adolescent period is a development process that deals with different age ranges in various sources, but we use information that this process starts with age of 10 or 12 and continues until the age of 18. In this period, when the adolescent period is examined in terms of its developmental characteristics, we know this period is really critical period in human development. This process brings about a holistic changing process unlike previous developmental periods. During this period, a cognitive, physical, emotional, psychological, and social change and development process is experienced, as all we experienced during that time. In this period, behaviors of socialization, independence, and attracting peer attention are observed. Marginalization is another important topic during this period. And another important thing is risk, taking risk in this period. Actually, there are some role model changing in adolescent time, because in early childhood, you know, role models can be family members, mother or father. You know, Sigmund Freud say that it's changeable according to child sex. But when we come to adolescent time, we saw that, you know, role models can be peers or popular people. For example, a soccer player, a rock star. So this interaction need, which was also present in the past, has evolved into a structure that is met in the virtual environment today. Unfortunately, in this pandemic time, we have spent so much time or too much time in front of the screen. Actually, that is really that's bring really big problems, because before pandemic, we made a research in Ankara. The research participants' age were the adolescents between 12 and 18. And when we ask how many time can you share can you share with internet or social media during the day, they told us, actually, according to research results, they told us we spend 3 or 4 hours during the day. Let's think about this time. We saw some research, and they say maybe 8 or 10 hours in a day. Per day, they spend 8 or 10 hours in front of the internet or computer. So that brings really, you know, problematic things in our life. What the research say about the topic, the factors affecting the internet use of adolescents and the developmental evaluation of the process topics are within the scope of social sciences. In the literature reviews, it is stated that the lower age limit for internet use is unfortunately gradually decreasing. The uncontrolled internet use of children in terms of their developmental stages creates some risks, really big risks actually. Also in the literature, there are studies showing that the increase in internet use in adolescents, which is critical in terms of biological, psychological, social, and sensory development, affects children negatively. Some studies deal with the concept of internet addiction, a new type of addiction actually, and some of you maybe can see some special department in hospitals nowadays, because I know that in Turkey Istanbul and Ankara, there are some special, part of, about this new type addiction, internet addiction. I don't know, maybe next days I also apply this hospital about internet usage. When we look to social work in addiction and abuse studies, actually social work science and profession have a content that deals with specific client groups within their environment and context. Various client groups and addiction studies are in the field of social work in this sense. When social work works with children in adolescence, it studies the role of change in the family life cycle of family interaction. And social work also develops interventions on the effects of conflicts between adolescents and parents on internet use by making use of various theoretical approaches. As a last sentence, I want to say social work is a branch of science that conducts professional practices by taking into account the holistic well-being of children in adolescence. Thank you for listening us. If you have any comments or questions at the end of the all presentation and all sessions, I will give some times for questions. Now I'm closing my presentation. Now our third participant is Yakup Aslan from Muş Alparslan University in Turkey. And now it's your turn.
Evet. Bütün hocalarımı saygıyla selamlıyorum. İyi çalışmalar diliyorum önce. Evet hocalarım, bugün 2 tane sunum yapacağım. Bu sunumlardan ilki uluslararası muhasebe standartlarına göre muhasebede yapılan hataların değerlendirilmesi ve örnek bir uygulama adı altında olacak. Nacizane Muş Alparslan Üniversitesi Sağlık Bilimleri Fakültesi Sağlık Yönetimi bölümünde doktor öğretim üyesi olarak çalışıyorum. Çalışmamı aramızdaki hocalarımızın yurt dışından da olması açısından tabii İngilizce olarak hazırladım ama sunumumu Türkçe yaparak sunuma farklılık katmayı da düşünüyorum. Her türlü sorunuza da açık olduğumu belirtmek isterim. Evet, öncelikle muhasebede uluslararası muhasebe standartları yatırımcı odaklı olması açısından yapılacak olan tüm çalışmalardaki hataların, doğru bilginin ve tahminlerin yatırımcıyla doğru bir şekilde ulaştırılmasını aslında burada bize gösteriyor. Ve bu anlamda da yapılan bir hatanın nasıl telafi edilmesi gerektiği çok açık bir şekilde aslında ifade ediliyor. Bu hataların tabii önemli sebeplerinden bir tanesi de az sonra değineceğiz ama tabii ki muhasebede hata yapmayı hiç kimse istemiyor. Yazılım programları vesaireler var ama bu sonuçta oluyor. Ve bunun açısından da uluslararası muhasebe standartları International Accounting System bizim ülkemizde de TMS olarak Türkçe'ye çevrilmiş durumda. Kamu Gözetimi ve Muhasebe Denetimi Standartları Kurumu tarafından. Dolayısıyla bu şekilde devam ediyor ve muhasebede hata kavramı muhasebede yapılacak olan hatalarda aranan şey hileden ayrı tutuluyor olması. Yani hata ile hileyi standart kırmızı çizgilerle çiziyor. Buna göre de muhasebede üretilen bilgilerin, kayıtların gerçeğe en yakın şekilde olması için hatalardan arındırılması gerekiyor. Tabii muhasebedeki hataların genel çerçevesine bakıldığı zaman burada bilgi eksikliği ve tecrübe eksikliği, mesleki özensizlik ve alışılmış düzeni terk etmeme gibi bir takım sebepleri biz burada sayabiliyoruz. Muhasebedeki hatalarda çeşitli sebepleri oluyor. Bunlar unutmayla alakalı ki en yaygın olarak insanın tabiatında olan bir özellikten dolayı olabiliyor. Matematik hataları olabiliyor. Periyotları yani dönemlerin transferi arasındaki sıkıntılar olabiliyor. Kayıtlarla alakalı hatalar olabiliyor ve dönemin dengesini sağlamak için öz kaynak yönetiminde yapılacak olan hatalardan kaynaklandığını nedenler arasında sayabiliriz. Peki hata kavramı muhasebede nasıl anlatılıyor, nasıl değerlendiriliyor? Muhasebede yapılacak olan hatayı TMS 8 standardı olarak belirttiğimiz standartta özellikle tutarlılık kavramı gereğince aşağıdaki sayılan maddelerin dipnot şeklinde o hatanın düzeltilebilmesi açısından belirtilen hususların her dönem itibariyle gösterilmesi gerekiyor. Özellikle sermaye şirketleri olan şu anda Borsa İstanbul gibi ülkemizde ve dünyanın hayır ekseriyetinde olan yerlerde yapılan hataların bilançolara olduğu gibi yansıtılmasıyla yatırımcılar çok büyük zarara uğruyor. Çünkü gerçekten uzak bir görüntü ortaya çıkmış oluyor. Buradaki uygulamamızda bir hastanenin bakıldığı zaman bir tabiri caizse bir demirbaş alıyor ve bu demirbaşla alakalı yapılan hatanın nasıl düzeltilmesi gerektiğini bu tabloda görebiliyoruz. Buradaki ayrılan amortisman unutulan daha doğrusu hatayen unutulan tutar 6.000 Türk Lirası olarak görünüyor. Ve bu 6.000 Türk Lirası bizim kayıtlarımızda ilk etapta görünmüyor. Ve bu görünmemesi de mali tablolarda olmayan bir rakamın varlığı gibi gösteriliyor. Yapılması gereken ilk husus 570 ve 257 hesaplarının çalıştırılması suretiyle 6.000 liralık düzeltme kaydı yapılması ve akabinden de bunun karşılaştırmalı olarak çünkü finansal tabloların sunum standartları özelliğinde yapılan hatalar karşılaştırmalı tablolarda finansal son kullanıcıya sunulur anlayışı söz konusu. Burada unutulan, ayrılması gereken ama unutulan amortisman değerine bakın 6.000 Türk Lirası düşürmek suretiyle bizim geçmiş dönem karlarımız otomatik olarak düşmüş olmakta.
Hocam ilk sunum için son 4 dakikanız.
Tabii ki hocam. Tabii ki hocam. Burada düzeltilmiş kar dağıtım tablosunda da en sonda da burada ifade edildiği üzere normal koşullarda 57 bin lira olarak hesapladığımız bizim karlılığımız 51 bin liraya düşmüş oldu. Yapmış olduğumuz hatadan dolayı. Daha sonraki aşamada 68.500 TL olarak hesaplanan 2020 yılı karlılığımızın da güncel olarak 62.500 Türk Lirasına düştüğünü görebiliyoruz. Ve sonuç olarak da muhasebe ürettiği bilgiler itibariyle toplumun tamamına etki eden bir yapısı olması ve her ne kadar gelişen teknolojiyle alakalı yazılım programlarının çok yoğun olarak kullanılmasından dolayı hataların en aza indirilebileceği öngörülse dahi bu programlara hükmedenin insan olduğu, insanın bu bilgileri bilgisayara aktarırken yapabileceği hataların da bilgisayar tarafından o hataları hata şeklinde üretmesine sebebiyet verdiği için TMS 8 standardı bu anlamda hataların ortadan kalkabilmesini ve oluşabilecek manipülasyonların, muhasebedeki bilgi kirliliğinin ve kötü finansal tablolarının ortadan kalkmasına ve yatırımcıların alabilecekleri en doğru kararı alabilmelerini sağlayacaktır diyerek ilk sunumu bitirmiş oluyorum. Teşekkür ediyorum. İkinci sunuma geçebilirim.
Teşekkür ederim hocam.
Ben teşekkür ederim hocam. Evet, ikinci sunumumuzda da muhasebedeki tahminlerin değiştirilmesiyle alakalı sunumumuz olacak. Yine muhasebe politikası ile ilgili Türkiye Muhasebe Standartları 8. standart çerçevesinde. Burada dikkat edilmesi gereken en önemli şey muhasebenin işletmenin çok önemli bir fonksiyonu olması ve yaptığı iş itibariyle toplumun tamamına etki ediyor olması. Yaşadığımız ülkede gözden kaçırılan her bir liranın ülkenin aslında tamamından kaçırıldığı ilkesi vardır bütçenin genellilik ilkesinde ve ademi tahsis ilkesi gereğince de üretilen her bir lira toplumdaki bütün kesimin olarak kabul edilir. Biz buna yani Beytülmal olarak da Osmanlı'da söylenmiş, yani tüy bitmemiş yetimin hakkı olarak da değerlendirilebilmekte. TAS 8 muhasebe standartları ve yapılacak olan tahmin ve hatalar standartının mantığı işletmelerin gelecekte yaşayacakları pozisyonu doğru olarak yorumlayabilmesi için tahmin modülünü ortaya koymuş. Tahminler işletmelerin bütçe tahminlerini oluşturabilmelerini ve performanslarını daha doğru takip edebilmelerine olanak sağlamaktadır. Çalışmamızı sağlık kurumları üzerinden bir örnekte neticelendirdiğimiz için sağlık kurumlarındaki finansal yapının önemi her geçen gün artmaktadır. Malum pandemi sürecinde herkesin ilk aklına gelen, her ülkenin aklına gelen şu anda sağlık sistemimizin ne kadar yerinde olduğu, ülkelerin sağlık harcamalarının aslında öyle bir pandemiye karşı ne kadar hazırlıksız yakalandığını da göstermekte. Dolayısıyla sağlık kurumları finansal yapıları güçlü olması gereken kurumlar olduğu için yapacakları tahminlerin de gerçeğe en uygun tahminler olması arzu edilmektedir. Bu standartın yani tahmin standartlarının finansal raporlamalara en önemli etkisi yine hastane yönetimi başta olmak üzere ve kamu ve özel sektördeki hastanelerin karlılık rakamlarını ve bundan sonraki periyotta doğru finansal kararlar alabilmeleri için finansal raporlamanın önemi oldukça fazladır. Uygulamamızda Medikal Park Hastanesi'nin 1 milyon liraya almış olduğu MR cihazının 5 yıl içerisinde amortisman ayrılmasına, yani amortisman dediğimiz husus yıpranma payı. Bu cihaz her yıl kullanım faydalı ömrü bitiyor ve bittiği zaman biz bir köşede hazır bir para bulunduruyoruz ki kasamızdan nakitlerimizi komple oraya aktarmak yerine bu birikmiş amortismanlarımızı devreye sokarak aslında yapmaya çalıştığımız şey tamamen nakit akışlarımızı bozmamak ve kendimizi ihtiyatlılık kavramı gereğince en uygun pozisyonda tutabilmek. Burada bakıldığı zaman kullanım ömrümüz normalde ayrıldığı zaman biz 3 yıl olarak görmüşüz, 5 yıl olarak öngörmüşüz ama daha sonra biz bunu cihazın kalitesinin farkına varamamışız. Ya bu 10 yıl acaba olabilir mi dediğimiz anda bakın 200 bin lira olarak toplamda 600 bin lira olarak harcadığımız amortismanlarımız, ayırmış olduğumuz amortismanlar karar alındıktan sonra yani 5 yıl daha uzun süreli biz bunu kullanılabilir dediğimiz anda bu ayrılacak olan amortismanın tutarı 80 bin Türk lirasına düşmektedir. Dolayısıyla sağlık kurumları esasen bu kalan 2 yıl için, ekstradan ortaya çıkan 2 yıl için 200'er bin TL ayırmak yerine 5 yıl boyunca 80'er bin Türk lirası ayırmak suretiyle tahminlerinde yapmış olduğu değişikliği bu şekilde dipnotlarında göstermeleri gerekir. Sonuç olarak da sağlık kurumları muhasebenin 12 temel kavramlarından biri olan tam açıklama kavramı ve ihtiyatlılık kavramı gereğince alacakları kararlardaki etkinliği sağlayabilmek ve bütçelerin kontrolünü doğru yönetebilmek, finansal anlamda özellikle özel sektörde halka açık anonim şirketlerdeki yatırımcılara firmanın karlılığı hakkında, gidişatı hakkında doğru yorumlar yapabilmesini sağlayabilmek açısından üretilen bilginin kalitesinin sorgulanmasının önüne geçebilmek açısından tahminlerde dahi bakın yapılacak olan değişiklikler TAS 8 standardına, ülkemizdeki ifadesiyle Türkiye Muhasebe 8 standartları çerçevesinde bunun dipnotlarda belirtilerek mali dönemin kapatılması sağlanmaktadır. Dinlediğiniz için çok teşekkür ederim. Sorunuz varsa alabilirim.
Hocam soruları en sonda alalım dilerseniz.
Hemen, peki teşekkür ediyorum.
Biz teşekkür ederiz. Thank you so much for Yakup Aslan for his presentation. If you have any question or comments, please at the end of the sessions we will take the questions and the other, you know, things about the presentations. Now we have completed 5 presentation. And according to list, when I look to list program of the session, I have 5 other participants, but they are not with us now. So we can, their names are Shalini Shegal Vandana from India, Said Ammar Al-Klani from Libya, Sabah Namazova, Günel Mamadova, and Mahat Babayeva from Azerbaijan, but they are not now in here. So we can continue with Nikolai Stankiu from North Macedonia.
Excuse me, sir. Can you hear me? Okay, for Al-Kilani, Saad Al-Kilani, I'm going to present for Saad Al-Kilani.
Okay, so you can continue.
Can I start presenting for Saad Al-Kilani?
Because I saw your name is another name.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because he couldn't present today because of electricity problem. That's why.
Okay, so according to program, you can continue. After your presentation, we will get Nikolai Stankiu.
Yeah, I have another presentation because I was in room in hall number 2, but they transferred me here to this room, you know, for Omar Mahmoud's presentation. Yeah. So I finished. I'm not going to be long. I finished the first one and start the second one. Okay. So,
okay. You have 10 minutes for each presentation.
Okay, I will start with the Mahmouda first.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me, sir? That's good, that's good. Okay, so today's presentation, good afternoon, everybody. Today's presentation is about the impact of internal and external environmental marketing on the performance of business organization. This is for Omar Milad Mahmouda. Okay, so the presentation is about business organizations, you know, face many problems. These problems, especially, are focused. These problems are especially focused on external environment. So, for organizations to be more successful, they should not ignore the external environment. They should focus on both the internal and the external environment, and to depend on the degree of the business's adaptation to the environmental situation and the application of the convenient policies that may support the organization survival, growth, and development. So successful business organizations always consider carefully both the internal and the external environment. It is perceptions of the importance of environmental factors responding to it and be in harmony with it. You know, because to control the external environment is going to be difficult for the business to control the external environment, because you know the top management has no control in the external environment. So all they have to do with it is to be in harmony with it. So we have to be aware of what's around our business. We have to be aware about the macro and micro external environment. So external environment can be divided into macro and micro. The macro environment is consistent with the political factor and the economic, political, law, etc. And the macro or the macro, which is the small environment, we can call it small environment, is related to the price policies the competitors to competitors themselves. So the competitors' policies, we have to know about our competitors' strategies. What are they doing? Where are they? Where are we now compared to our competitors? This is very important. So we have to evaluate ourselves from time to time as a business. So we don't have to just say that we are successful, and we don't really have to bother about the competitors surrounded us. So we have to employ our marketing intelligence to collect information and data about our competitors. And this information and data will help us to find out where are we now compared to the other competitors, especially regarding to our prices. You know, our prices is this is an example of the outside environment or the external environment. Is aware of the competitors' prices. So we have to make our prices equal to the competitors or less than the competitors. This is, it depends on our product or service that we are producing. And it depends on the quality of our product and service. Because, you know, consumers, they are bothered about value for money. So the how the consumer be satisfied about the can be satisfied regarding to how much money they pay and what level of quality they get. You know, this is will make them satisfied or unsatisfied. So this is how we can judge if our consumer satisfied or not of the price. For example, if someone goes and stay in a hotel, and you know, he paid for the hotel, and if he didn't get, you know, good quality service in the hotel, you know, good meals and good facilities, other facilities that consumers use in hotels, this will, you know, will make them unsatisfied. So about the amount of money that they paid. So they compare the amount of money they pay with the service that they get. Okay. So in this paper, if we go to the conclusion here of this paper, we find out about the conclusions that what our business should focus on. Our business should focus on study the demographic environment. Is very important to find out about the demographic environment. You know, who are we targeting? Our target market is very important to collect information and data about our target market, to find out who are our consumers. Also, the cultural environment is very important. So we have to find out about the culture that surrounded us. It's very important. So once we know about the culture and be familiar or aware of the culture, this can help us to find out about how to behave with our consumers, with our current and expected consumers, and also what kind of services that we should focus on to satisfy the needs and wants of our consumers. This is very important. Also, the economic environment is very important. So the economic environment is to find out the power, the purchasing power of our target market is very important. So there is no point if we sell an expensive product in a market that, you know, the purchasing power of the consumer or its consumer is very low. So there is no point about that. So once we find out about our consumers' purchasing power, this will help us to find out or to reach the appropriate product or service that we should sell to this specific market. The political situation is important to know. because if we don't know about the political situations, things will be will roll out, because sometimes the new laws come out, so we have to find out new laws and new policies of the government, for example, regarding custom taxes, for example, regarding other kind of taxes. This is important to find out about it. So once we find out about it, we can do something, we can be in harmony with it, and we can adapt it. Also the religious is very important. The religious, we have to find out the religious factor is important as well. So the religious factor also will impose some that we should respect, and we should behave in a way that we should respect our people, to our consumers. Their religious should be respected. So if we are establishing our business in a country, we have to find out about the religious of the people, the culture. This is very important to make our business successful and continuous, our business. Also, the technological environment is very important. Technology is important because nowadays many organizations take technology as a competitive advantage. So if we take care of technology, that's mean we are working in we are using a contemporary way of work, and this can be used as a competitive advantage compared with our competitors. So we have to be up to date, and we have to make our business and provide our business with the latest technology that will help us to make our services more faster and more accurate. And thank you very much for listening. Thank you, sir.
We want to thank you.
Thank you. So if you have any questions about this, the questions is gonna be later on, yeah?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so
you can
okay, so can I start? Can I go to the next paper? Yeah.
Yeah, it's up to you.
Yeah.
If you want to.
Yeah. Okay, I will continue with the next paper now. Okay, thank you. Okay. This is the paper of Said Al-Kilani. The paper title today is the impact of armed groups control on neighboring countries, borders, on international relations. We know that armed groups nowadays, and especially in Arabic countries, are controlling the borders, and this affected the relationship between neighboring, among the neighboring countries, and make the neighboring countries interfere in each other, local affairs, and this phenomenon became really known, especially in places like Libya, which resulted in influencing the bilateral relations between the neighboring countries, and this has shortcomings. It became a case or accuse for, or an excuse. It became an excuse actually for state intervention, border and the affairs of other countries under the slogan of conserving internal security. So the countries, or especially developed countries like Europe and America, and they have an excuse, you know, to interfere in the local affairs of, you know, and they have excuses like, for example, they say they want to solve, to create the safety and security in those countries, and there are many other excuses they can make. In addition, this phenomenon has seen clearly in the Arab states that this case will have an impact on the short and long-term stability of the bilateral relations in the light of the direct investment. And thus it is a reflection not only on the border security, but also on the social coherence or cohesion within the border line of these countries. This, of course, is going to affect the living style of the people and the culture of the people, civilians who live close to these borders, and the behavior of those people will be changed because many things will, you know, outside the law. The violences will increase. The case will increase, like, you know, smuggling, and the problems will arise because of this. So in this paper, we try to show and give examples of the countries who had this problem, or they are having this problem right now, like, for example, Syria, Libya, Iraq, and you know, how those countries affected, and how the relationship of those countries affected, especially with the neighboring countries. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving us a chance to present our papers. Thank you.
We want to thank you for your presentation. You have two different presentations from different fields, so that's really beneficial for us. Now we have another participant, Nikolai Stankiu. Can you hear me, sir? He looks like with us, but I don't know if he can hear us. Nikolai Stankiu from Northern Macedonia. So he couldn't hear us. And we have another participants. I saw Çağlar Karaca and Vedat Akman. Do you have also presentation in this session? Because according to program, we finished our presentations. Çağlar ve Vedat hocalarım, sizler sunumunuz var mı? Katılımcısınız. Sanırım beni duymuyorlar. Okay. If you have any question about the presentations, we can continue with questions till coming Nikolai Stankiu. Actually, today I want to make an evaluation about this. Today, as you listen all presentations, we have different participants from different countries, and we have a colorful session actually, because you know, we have lots of presentation from lots of different departments. I write down veterinary studies, social work, accounting, international relations, and business administrations. And now Nikolai Stankiu, it's your turn, sir. If you are ready, you can start. please open your speaker.
So, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. So
Okay. I have tried. I think there are some limitation moving from my computer to iPad. I couldn't find it in here. Therefore, I would read it, and if you are interested in much more details, because this is a, let's say, quite big research. I have been done for more than 5 years. But I would like to pick up some ideas in the limited time of 10-15 minutes that you give me. My presentation is named Echo of Turkic and Turkish Civilizations in Balkan Languages. And I started by framing the context of Balkans from a cultural and linguistic point of view. The Balkans as a cultural area has become a field of interest for numerous researchers in anthropology, history, linguistics in the last century. Apparently, a no-name land denominated in Latin and Greek by Hemus, the Balkans are a territory with no clear borders, their shape oscillating from the narrow acceptation of Bulgarian Stara Zagora and surroundings to the widest area, including today Albania, Greece, Romania, Hungary, Serbia, Macedonia, Croatia, Slovenia, and even Ukraine and the Republic of Moldavia. Considered to be the cradle of ancient civilizations and modern states, the Balkans have remained a multi-layer cultural construct where the interferences have been generated by the successive empires and kingdoms' dominations, spanning from Thracian and Illyrian, Roman, Byzantium, Kingdom of Bulgars and Vlachs, and the last one, Ottoman Empire. Therefore, I approach the subject from a, let's say, cultural perspective, mostly linguistic anthropology. And I started by pointing out the role of etymology as a now inter and multidisciplinary science. Etymology is a science mostly of forms of meaning, has combined and extended the use of complementing each other sciences like folklore, geography, history, linguistics, as multiple tools of interpretation meant to lead the researcher to the best possible solutions and to establish cross-cultural correlations among the concepts defined and followed in the field. Phonetics, semantics, and conceptual frames, or scenes, as they were named by Vygotsky and Crapanzano, reflect the dynamics of the evolution in each language, which has started being used as a marker of ethnicity and identity in the last century, especially. Coming to the narrow stripe of Turkic studies, we have now some seminal studies written in 16 by Clausen, later on Peter Golden, Cliastroni, and Mengesh, who have questioned the clear division of culture and languages in groups or families and added silent sources like archaeology, historical events, empire movements, and springs of acculturation or bilingualism. It is very, very probable researches in the ancient Turkic and modern Turkish languages would prove that other early words which are now supposed to be archaical, dialectal, regional, or even obsolete, have in fact survived somewhere in other cultures with which Turkic and Turkish people were in contact, or their languages were somehow genetically related. Therefore, the distinction between Turkic, now namely referring to Kipchak and Kuman, Tatars and Pechenegs, and Turkish, mostly referring to Ottoman Turkish, can be understood as cultural continuity based on sources coming from different fields of culture. And now moving to the toponymy and the anthropology, we found like really interesting some names of the places in Romania, like Pecheneaga, in today Dobruja, related to the name of Pechenegs, or Cumania, which was quite clear and ambiguous, fairly unambiguous term that hosted, and territory that hosted people of Turkic origins. I decided to distinguish two main waves properly of, let's say, Turkic and Turkish influence. First one was related to to the Turkic people who has been inhabited territories, large territories in today Central Asia, and now Ottoman Turkish that came later in history now and conquered the Balkans, spreading around their cultures and, of course, their words. And we can look at the context from different perspectives, either historical, geographical, and mostly linguistics, because as a result of cultural contacts and co-inhabitation, these speakers of Turkic and Turkish language have exchanged concepts and words as their interfering civilization undoubtedly left traces in some fields like archaeology, cuisine, folklore, habits, language, mindsets, and traditions. Therefore, diverse Turkic dialects have preserved a vast common lexis called indigenous and corresponding to ancient Turkic, while in the Balkan and Danube, Europe, now these ethnic groups mixed with other groups. Using the concepts of cultural and linguistic contact zone, which generated etymological confluences and lexical interferences, and of course, semantic divergences and stratigraphy in analyzing different etymological layers of the inherited vocabulary, we came to a gradual interpretation of etymologies following the evolution of one item from the possible language of origins to remote dialects or varieties spoken by ethnic groups in Balkans. All these changes are led by phonetical and semantical exchanges. For instance, a typical one, it is from D to T, like Delhi. In Romanian and Bulgarian, we have some places called Delhi Orman and Tele Orman, like a crazy forest, no, metaphorically speaking, or Gyol, Kyol in Kazakh language to Gyol, no, lake. These are the most important changes. In meaning, we have a lot of other words that experience some changes. Very, very interesting to me seems to be Arkan, which is Tatar word and survived in Ukrainian and Romanian for Leiso, no? And kept the shape of Arkan now necklace in in Turkish as well. Other words like Mameluk, which is to be found also in French, Sultan Guard in Egypt, may properly originate in Uyghur dialect like Mamluk, the name of old Turkic dynasty, and further one in Persian, Mameluk, military slaves, modern Persian servants, denoting Central Asian practice of purchasing slaves and training them to be guards of the home of merchants' homes, who departed usually on long voyages to China or elsewhere. Another very, very interesting change in meaning, it is related to, in Romanian, Mameluk today, it is very, not only Romanian, in Bulgarian, Macedonian, Romanian, Serbian, dummy, foggy, Walt Router, mollycoddle, and some other different things. All original meaning found in Persian language and in today Farsi was hero. So from hero to a crazy man, we have registered now numerous variations. And we have properly multi-layered and evolutive etymologies to be found in all the languages of extended Balkans, from Hungary to Slovenia to South Slavic countries, or Moldavia, Romania, and Ukraine or Russia. In my opinion, I grouped these items in some semantical fields, and I started with analyzing spaces, holdings, and habits in the Balkans. Speciality has in all Balkan languages its own conceptual and lexical denomination, and places of oriental perfume can be found in the centers of the cities, or as well as in the margins, figuring out an imaginary fight to occupy the important location and the social position. Maybe the most representative spaces of the Balkans that reveal a specific atmosphere are bazaar, Romanian, Serbian, Macedonian, bazar, denominate market consisting in miscellaneous articles, a fair, and it has the same mixed and multiple etymology like Italian bazaar or Urdu bazar, Persian, of Persian origins. A second one, to show how widely spread became the term. In Macedonian, we have even a verb, pazari, it is to go shopping, or some places in the city are named like Green Bazaar, Cheese Bazaar, Old Bazaar, very, very specialized for different sorts of cells. A second,
3 minutes.
3 minutes. Okay, I will try to make it. I will short it because I have like 40 slides. So a second place significant for the field, it is Cârciuma, Romanian Cârciuma, Macedonian Cârciuma, Serbian, Bosnian Cârciuma, which is a sort of tavern, but it's not only, as in Greek, an establishment licensed to sell alcoholic drinks to be consumed in the premises, but more place located at the crossroads in a rural area, It has a fireplace to make people feel like in their homes. Storytellers delight customers and travelers with tales of Oriental sense. People gather together, drink impressive quantities of alcohols, dance on the table, sing and smoke like Turks. It's a phrase that marks the excess in this area. Using chubuk, long cigars, lule pipes, or nargile water pipes, and being decorated with kilims, carpets, or no other specific lines. The outskirts, mahala, Romanian mahala, Macedonian mahala is maybe related to Uzbek term mahalia, inhabited by people of distinguished or low conditions, reflecting again a sort of aspiration to come to the center or carry for a quiet life. And in this area, we have numerous words derived by Turkish suffixes like Jew, staying not only for agents like jamjiu, glass cutter, tarabajiu, stall seller, but rather for human behaviors and habitually manifested. For instance, kusurjiu, cafejiu, coffee drinker, in excess coffee drinker, fustanjiu, it is a make liking too much women, rake, sort of rake, mahalajiu, a person with no manners, aggressive and noisy in its behavior. Okay, I should stop here. But if you get an interest in it, you can read. I suppose that I can upload it to the website or something like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your really good presentation, because we saw that today also we are using some mutual words.
Yeah.
How one friend from Serbia, and she told me that chorba is also another mutual word.
Yeah. There are hundreds of words, but properly the most significant in meaning and in metaphorical meaning come from Arabic and Persian, sometimes from Sanskrit, and they were absorbed in Turkish language. Even this mahala in Turkish is, as far as I know, just the street where you live, the place where you live. Yes, the neighborhood. Yeah. While in Romanian and other languages is the outskirts. And chorba is in the same situation. I have some slides dedicated to cuisine, and it is properly an Arabic word. Now coming to, and there is a broad range of words of, let's say, Oriental etymology that came through Turkish language or via Turkish language into the Balkan languages and cultures. But they have now an anthropological dimension. They reflect people behavior, people features, or mentalities as well. And in Serbian, I have taught like 8 years in Belgrade, and I know I did some researches in the field. All Balkan languages are properly full of Turkish words, hundreds of words. And they are related to habitation, places, temelie, temelt, parts of the house, also to garments, and to ways of living overall.
When you look the map of Turkey, we saw a bridge actually. But
yes.
this bridge is not just geographically, it's also cultural, because in modern Turkish, we are starting the sentence with Arabic word, then English, then French, and at the end of, Persian. So it's mixed.
Yeah.
It's a mixed language now. So we have material history in the backside.
Yeah.
We have too many material words. Thank you so much for all participants. If you have any question, now we can ask some question for the participants. If we don't have any question, now we have to finish our session.
Okay, thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you so much.
I want to thank everyone for their presentation. Your participation certificates will be sent to you by email with a few hours. Stay well. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Have a nice day to all participants. Bye-bye.